Okay, good afternoon. So today's lesson, oh dear, there's me, we don't need that. Today's lesson is the start of half term 2, Algorithms and Programming 2. So well done for your hard work last half term. Hopefully you have already rated your confidence now in, where's it gone? Half term 2, there, this one, sequence selection and repetition. You'll know that some of the learning objectives we've already covered because we did those in the previous topic and we want to build on that. It's okay to say that your confidence has gone down because time passes and things fall out of our brains, which is why we go back and repeat stuff. So let's make a start. Today is all about string manipulation and string methods. String, remember, is text. It's a data type of Python for dealing with text. So today we particularly want to use indexing, which is getting characters from within a string. Manipulation just means changing. If you manipulate a person, it's a negative thing. You force them to do stuff. If you manipulate a string, well, the string can't complain. It just means you're changing it. You're making it all caps or all lowercase, that kind of thing. So strings are sequences, that means in order, more than one of them, of characters. So a character is an individual digit. It can be a letter, it can be a number, it can be some punctuation like a space. And we have them in order. So hopefully you can predict that if you ran this code, it would just say computer science. Because we assign this string to a variable, we display the contents of that variable, we're displaying computer science. How does it work? Well, we allocate memory for each character. Remember, it's a sequence, and sequences are in order. So each of those characters have to be displayed in the right order. Notice that we start with a 0. So think of this like if you go to the first floor of a building, that doesn't mean the ground floor, it means the one above the ground floor. Americans get it all wrong. They think the first floor is the ground floor. So if you're doing list indexing or string indexing, you always start the British way in terms of buildings where 0 is the first character. This space is a character. It does exist, it has memory there, it has its own location, and by location we just call it index. So we can do some clever stuff with that. Rather than displaying the whole string and getting computer science to be displayed, you can use indexing, which is square brackets. We use square brackets for lists and for indexing, and indexing works with lists and with strings. So the 0 here is the index, so that is going to display the first character, or at position 0, a C. This one is going to start at the third character, as in 0, 1, 2 is going to display that M. Can you see? Up to, but not including, the 7th character. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's not going to include that one here. So that colon means we start from this position and we continue up to this position. And that's everything you need to know to get started on CT7. That's the string that you've got. So you just need to write down what this would be. Don't type it out in Python. Just look at it and predict. So the string 0 will be the first character. It must be case sensitive, please. So if it's a capital letter here, it's a capital letter when you write it down. That would be wrong. That's correct. Okay, I'll pause the video. I'd like you to work through activity 1 and 2, and I'll resume with some help a little bit later. Okay, so let's have a look at some examples for activity 2. We've seen already that if you have an indexing expression, that means something inside your square brackets, the first number, which is the only one that you need, is where you start from. The second number, which is optional after a colon, is where you stop. And the third number is how many you move on by. So let's see some examples. If we run just this, nothing happens because it doesn't display anything. We've got two choices. We can either display the lyrics from Green Eggs and Ham. Oops, that's displaying literally that. I want to display the variable contents. Or in the REPL, we can do the name, and it should, if I'd spelt it right, Guy I Am. There we go. It should also allow you to do it in the REPL. The read, evaluate, print loop just allows you to run one line at a time. I'm going to do it displaying the expression in here. So I don't want you to do this. This is it's not cheating, it's just pointless. You don't really learn much from it. So this is the output, but why is that the output? Well, the 0 means it starts at position 0. The 13 means that we finish just before the 14th character, as in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's going to have all of that, but it's not going to contain position 13, the 14th character. But it's not going to have all of those. It's going to move on by 3 each time. So we have the I, and then we skip 2 to get to the third one, and then we skip 2 to get to the 6th one, and we skip 2 to get to the next one. So it's like how many you increase it by each time. So if we see some of them here, a minus means we can start from the 32nd character, work backwards by 1 each time until we get to the 29th character. So by all means, do what I'm doing by testing it, but write your prediction down first for me, please. So as we get to the final activity, we need to be able to understand string slices. So I mentioned this before. The first number before a colon is where you start looking. Remember, it's 0 indexing, starts counting from 0. The next number, if there is one, says where you go up to. And remember, you stop just before it. And then the next number, if there is one, is how much you increase by each time. So here, if we've got computer science, we start with the first letter, a capital C. We go up to, but not including the 9th letter. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to stop just before that space. And we increase by 2 each time. So we do C, we miss out the O of computer science. We get the M, we miss out the P. You get the idea. This is a really nice way of reversing a string. It's like computer science. You miss out the first bit because we start at the 15th character, which is the T. And then we work backwards because of this -1. Just want to formally mention this phrase that you've seen before. Concatenation is a fancy long word for joining together, adding together. So plus with integers will add 2 numbers. Plus with strings will concatenate, which means join onto the end. So str plus ing means you're going to get string. There are some things that are really useful to be able to do with some strings. So when you do your example, your mock exam in year 10, you'll get given a PLS, a document with loads of hints and tips. You get a printed version, you get an electronic version, and it has all of this on there. This is how you can calculate the length of a string, or work out, has it just got characters or numbers, as in, does it not have any punctuation in? Is it, this will convert it to lowercase, this will convert it to uppercase. So what does that mean? Let's see, if we go back to the code here, you've got 2 options here. You can display oh my goodness, I've got it wrong again. There we go, so that's the original string. This says if you have a string and do dot lower, it converts it to lowercase. So that's all lowercase, that's all uppercase. And you can put an indexing expression in there as well. So you can do like 0 to 5, every other character, and it will then convert that to uppercase. You can also miss some stuff out if you want. You can just say start from the beginning, go to the end -1, and it's going to reverse the whole thing for you. It's really clever to use those indexing expressions and the string manipulation methods. So hopefully you've had some time to work through activity 1, 2, and 3 and to experiment with different ways of manipulating strings. For the extension, as in to get full marks for this worksheet, I'd like you to use the skills that we've learned so far to write a program that will ask the user to enter a secret message. So you can use input and store the result into a variable. And then just reverse that text and display it all in capital letters. Remember, anything in your worksheet should be written in dark green for me, please. Sorry, blue, so that we can have green for any improvements. And please do show any code for that extension challenge at the end. It's not quite the end of the lesson yet, but for the purposes of the video, at the end of the lesson, here's where I'd like you to upload it to, please. Half term 2, Algorithms and Programming 2. And this should be saved in your topic 1 and topic 6 folder, the Algorithms and Programming